The bit where he plays Master of Puppets, that was dope. All the people who are like, oh great, now everyone's gonna be a fake Metallica fan. Newsflash, buddy. Every fan of Metallica has been a fake Metallica fan since Kill 'Em All has happened. Which was like a long fucking time ago. See, it's a rookie move.
See, your shit, your little sword.
Gotcha, bitch! Fuck you. Talk a lot more shit. Fuck you.
Look at me.
Shit.
Yeah. Oh.
Boom!
Fuck.
Get fucking shit on. Get shit on!
Alright.
Welcome back to a thrilling episode of Dante's Drive-In. I haven't made one in a while because of several reasons. One, I was fired and had to get a new job that made it harder to do things like this. But I'm quitting that job because fuck that job. Two, I'm currently sick. I don't think it's COVID. I've gotten tested and I am up to date on all of my shots. And I've had COVID like several times this year already, so I'm like, man, am I this unlucky? But that's kind of why my voice sounds funny. But I do have the tonsil stones, which suck in my throat. Gwen was also sick, and then she got me sick. Gwen has been living here since, like, I want to say like April or May. She came in, we teamed up to fight this werewolf that was running around. We took care of the problem with a little bit of assistance from Carl. You can hear more about that on my DeviantArt page. Gwen's been living here. She had no place to go. But now I've just got all of her stuff. Look at this. This is Gwen's stuff. Just hanging out. Gwen has a habit of leaving her panties just all over the place, and they're dirty. It's fucking gross. Look, if I was a straight man, if I was into women, this would be kind of cool. But I'm gay, and it's gross because she's got her vag juices on them, and she puts them in the stupidest places. God, we will get into this later. Basically, Gwen is not here right now. Gwen was sick. She got over it. Now I'm sick. I have tonsillitis or something, which is why instead of pop, I'm drinking Gatorade Zero today. So just kind of cool. Ooh, what's going on here? Could be worse. However, it's fall, okay? Which means I gotta kick things into high gear. There's Dante Graves shit that needs to be discussed. There's Dante's drive-ins that need to be discussed. I wanted to make so many drive-ins this year and I didn't. And I've seen so many movies. It's not for a lack of having seen movies. I've seen tons of movies, which is why this drive-in is here. This is basically a end of summer update. Okay, where I'm gonna cover things I saw throughout the summer that I felt like speaking about. But it's fall, which is why I've already got my candy corn bucket out. Okay, so soon it's gonna be Halloween time, and then we're gonna really have to step it up a notch here in Dante Graves land. This is also a different area that I normally record in. I just kind of felt like sitting on the floor today, and also my office is a fucking disaster. No thanks to Gwen. I bought Candyman on Blu-ray finally. It was at Walmart for like this is Candyman 4, by the way. I got, Candyman 3 actually came out on Blu-ray, the Day of the Dead, which I've always kind of been a fan of, and I picked that one up. It was like a Vestron video release or something, I forget. Picked that one up, and then this one was like 20 bucks forever, and I like this movie. I did a review of it on last year's Halloween special for the drive-in, but I just didn't feel like I wanted to pay $20 on it, and then it went down to $12.99, and I was like, yeah, so I picked it up. Not a review, just I bought the Blu-ray. I haven't even taken it out of the shit yet, but yeah, I have that film now. Now, if I could just find a copy of Candyman Farewell to the Flesh, I'd have all of them. But that movie's actually ridiculously hard to find. Okay, so we've got drive-in stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about everything that I saw. I wrote them all down just so I didn't forget on my phone. There's a bunch of stuff that I want to see, but I'm going to have to cover in the next drive-in. I know I say that sometimes. I'm like,
oh, I want to talk about Welcome to Raccoon City. I'll talk about it next time. And then I didn't. I just never did. I've still never seen Welcome to Raccoon City.
A lot of things that I saw over the summer that I either enjoyed or didn't enjoy or just had some kind of thoughts on. But then there's other stuff that I've also seen that I'm going to talk about at a later date. So things like the new Scream movie, the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, X, because Pearl is coming out. I didn't want to cover X without having seen Pearl, so I was like, I'll just wait till Pearl. And then they announced that Maxine is coming out, so I'm like, well, then I might as well just wait for that one to come out also. Do them all in like one video, you know what I'm saying? I'm obligated to talk about the rest of Stranger Things, because I started that, but I didn't want to do it as its own video because I mainly just my opinions from the first two just carried over to seasons 3 and 4. And yeah. Okay. We're gonna start with the thing. Okay, so for just so you know what's going on here. Next episode of Drive-In, I've got a big Halloween drive-in planned. We're gonna go all out for Halloween this year. There might even be more than one Halloween video. I'm actually pretty much sure there's going to be more than one Halloween drive-in video. And obviously there'll be the Dante Graves Show Halloween special. There may be a Dante Graves thing before that. With this new job, like I said, it's more difficult to get out there and fight monsters and things. So Heatwave 2 was longer, it was crazier, but it was also, you know, whatever. Because fighting monsters isn't the only thing that your boy has to do. I have to keep the bills alive somehow because it actually doesn't pay very well to be doing that stuff. Next episode of the Drive-In though, I want to talk about Barbarian, the Munsters movie, Retaliators, Nope, I have not seen yet, Smile, and Pearl, and also X. So I want to cover X at some point. Or, you know what, actually fuck it, let's just cover X today. I'll cover Pearl next time, and then when Maxine comes out, we'll talk about that. So today, yeah, let's just fucking jump into it with the oldest movie on this list. I think the oldest movie. The movie that I saw the longest time ago, which is X.
So we're gonna make a friendly contest, all right? If you lose, when you lose,
Well,
I'm gonna stick your head in that toilet. You're getting a Swirly. You're going to Swirly City.
you're getting the Swirly.
Well, I never said if I lose that I get a Swirly.
No,
It's just
yes, that's the bet. No. Whoever loses gets a Swirly.
Okay.
What? Scared you're
No,
gonna
no,
lose?
I'm not fucking scared of anything. All right.
Scared you're gonna
I'm
lose.
not fucking scared, Gwen. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Deal.
Just spit on it.
Ew, no.
Yeah, I know that is gross, isn't it?
Okay, it's a deal.
Alright. Here we go. Alright, Ken. You're getting your ass beat!
Shit.
Chun-Li is thick for no reason, too, also.
What do you mean no reason?
Well, plenty of reasons.
She works the fuck out.
Oh, Ken, what's that? Is that your health
Yeah,
bar?
get fucked. Talk shit. Talk
Shit.
more shit. You're gonna be talking a lot of shit when your head's in the fucking toilet.
You're gonna be eating shit. What?
Son of a bitch.
Swirly City!
Hey, it's round fucking 1 of 3.
Whatever. You're one step closer to Swirly
Got
City.
knocked over a Super Nintendo. With my foot.
Listen here, Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai.
He does kind of look like Johnny.
Doesn't he not?
Yeah.
Get!
Yes!
Ah.
Stay down! Come on.
My leg's falling asleep.
Keep distance.
No! Get your shit together.
Why the
Yeah.
fuck? Dude, my controller's
Yeah.
really not working anymore.
Oh, my controller's really not working anymore.
No, you play with this fucking controller, you'd be bitching and moaning too.
Hey, watch this.
Boom, boom, boom!
No! No! Yeah!
Are you fucking serious?
Ooh. Alright, deal's a deal.
Ew. No.
Yeah.
There's shit in there. There's toilet paper and shit.
It doesn't matter. Deal's a deal.
No, at least let me clean it first.
You wouldn't let me clean it if it was me getting a Swirly.
I'm not putting my head in that toilet.
Yes, you are. Let's go. Come on.
No.
Get.
Stop. Gun!
Get your head in that toilet, bitch! Get in there! How does shit taste?
I'm gonna take a shower now.
Alright.
X is a slasher film that comes to us from Ty West that stars Mia Goth. That's what it is. I basically heard about this movie like the day it came out.
People are like, yeah, there's a new slasher movie. It's called X.
And I was like, oh, really?
Oh, yeah, it's from A24.
Oh, well, I mean, like, I don't hate A24 as a rule. There's quite a few A24 things I like. I loved Hereditary and Midsommar. I enjoyed The Lighthouse. My experience seeing it in a theater was the worst experience I've ever had in a theater because nobody else in that theater enjoyed that movie. and I feel like I would have liked it a lot better had I just not even watched it. I have the movie on Blu-ray, so I enjoyed it enough to go out and buy it. But that experience in the theater, I associate that movie with annoyance and irritation, even if I liked what it was going for. But it's not a movie I'm gonna just pop in to fucking watch. And there is a tendency, though, for A24, like, a movie, like, if they call it a slasher film, I'm like, okay, well, it's A24's interpretation of a slasher film. I know that they don't make the movies, but the movies that they're looking at, that they're promoting and stuff, I might not be getting, like, okay, so The Lighthouse is a great example. That was billed as a horror film, as like a movie that's gonna scare you. Hereditary and Midsommar I did think were scary, okay? I'm not asking for, you know, McBoogaloo's jump scare House of Booze, but I am asking for, like, horror elements to be in the film, and not just a psychological drama that's also, like, this weird metaphor for something else. Like I said, I liked The Lighthouse, so don't come in here,
you just didn't get it, and I'm smarter than you, which is why I liked The Lighthouse.
No, it's not it at all. I get the movie, and just because you went online after seeing the movie and watched an explained video, so you feel smart now, I didn't do that. I just watched the movie, enjoyed the atmosphere and the performances. Okay, we're basically reviewing The Lighthouse now, but that's how I felt about the movie. It was a movie that was like, wow, that was a weird thing. I probably won't be watching it again. I enjoyed it though when I bought it, and I'm like, maybe I will watch it again. But Hereditary and Midsommar felt like movies. Like, they might have been overly indulgent, artsy-fartsy movies, but they were movies at the end of the day. When they said they're doing a slasher film, that Ty West, and I like Ty West, but like, I just was concerned. I'm like, is this like, are they just calling it a slasher movie but it's not really one? And then I saw the movie, and it's literally like the best slasher movie I've seen in years. It's got an iconic killer. Excellent fucking soundtrack. Awesome cast of victim characters whom we can root for. For the most part, I'd say I liked every single character in the movie, which is awesome for a slasher movie. Even like the ones that like, they're just there to die. They put enough work in to make you give somewhat of a shit before they died, which is like the minimum that you have to do in a slasher movie. Just make them fun to be around before they die, and then when they do die, make their deaths awesome. And they nailed that across the board. I think the only one I didn't really care for was Jenny Ortega's character, which I'm starting to think Jenny Ortega and I just have beef, because I didn't like her character in the new Scream movie either. But then that trailer for the Wednesday show came out, and she looks pretty good in that. So maybe I do like Jenny Ortega, I just don't like the way she's written. And Jenny Ortega was likable in this movie up until like right before she died. And then she became like the most irritating character, like the minute before they killed her. And I'm like, did you do that just so we wouldn't feel bad when she died? Like, I don't know. I didn't get that at all. But I thought the killer was awesome. I thought the music and the tone and the vibe. I know some people say this movie's really slow, but to me, a slasher movie is all about the setting and the characters and the music before the kills. So then you gotta like just kind of be vibing with hanging out with these people, hanging out in this area, and like you can see the mayflies in the air and the tall grass and like the crickets chirping, like just that summertime vibe. And people are swimming, and they're making a movie, a porn film, but it's still a movie. And so there's discussions about scripts and acting and angles, and I like all that stuff because I've made shitty movies, and so whenever someone's making a movie on screen, I'm like immediately invested. So there's that, and like I said, the music selections, not just that the music is great, and I've been listening to this soundtrack for like months after I've seen this movie, but also just that the music influences subtext in the movie. Like the song Landslide, specifically by Fleetwood Mac, the usage of it in the movie is one of the best usages I've seen of any song in a movie in a long time. I loved the parallels that it was showing, you know, and then the movie's all about kind of like parallels, like two sides to everything. And now that it's becoming like a trilogy where we're gonna have one movie that's basically dedicated to Pearl and one movie dedicated to Maxine, and kind of explore them more on their own, that parallelism and like how they just kind of cross paths like an X. Jesus Christ. It's so well put together if you really think about it. There's so many things like that you can think of. But the way that they cross paths in this movie is now going to feel a lot more purposeful. And also, just like the little stuff they were clearly setting up for other movies, here didn't feel like, oh, we're setting up another movie. It just felt like interesting subtext to think about, and now that it's going to be expounded upon in a sequel or a prequel or both, just feels really exciting to me. And I love the idea of like, this is now a trilogy where one is about the 70s pornography exploitation kind of thing, and then one's about the Technicolor musical like of the 1930s, 40s, and then the newest one, or the one that's going to come after that, Maxine, is going to be about the VHS boom of the 1980s. All of that sounds fascinating, and as long as they can keep this, like, the kills as fluid and entertaining throughout all three of them, I'm gonna love this trilogy, like a shitload. I also, Mia Goth as both of these characters, I thought she was phenomenal. I didn't know she played both of them until the second time I saw this in theaters, because I saw it, and I was like, oh, fuck, that was the best fucking, oh my god, I love that movie. And then I had to, like, take friends to see it. We went out to eat, and went and saw the movie. And also, okay, without sounding too crude about this, honestly, I don't really give a shit if I do. It was honestly just refreshing to see a horror film, or any film for that matter, but mainly a horror film, just a grimy fucking slasher movie. Even if they want to call this elevated horror, it's just a slasher movie. There's no, like, yeah, there's subtext, but slasher movies have always had subtext. Halloween had subtext. It doesn't matter, just because it has that doesn't make it inherently smarter. It was just nice to see a slasher movie that was simple, with a good setting, with a good cast, with really brutal, like, in-your-face kills, with a fun soundtrack, that a quick pace. I thought it was quick pace because I enjoyed all the lead-up to the killings. And honestly, if you watch something like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, nothing really happens till the midpoint of that movie either. Like, there's a lot of fucking slow, like, atmospheric buildup, which is what this movie is. And I just didn't find it boring because I felt like we were getting to know these people. And that's what makes the killing scenes that much more exciting. Like, none of that bored me because it was engaging. So I would never describe this movie as being slow. It's just, at the first part you get a 70s porno, kind of like sex comedy, and the second part's the killing part, which is how most slasher films are, like the good ones at least. So, what I was gonna say though is it was just refreshing to see sex be shown in such graphic detail, and not be, like, shamed really. Like, it was, yes, it was part of the story, but I imagine that the other two films will feature sex and nudity and, like, sexual content in a prevalent role as well. Like, it definitely had a role in the story. But so many movies now, we're such fucking prudes, and everything has to be so sanitized and, like, sterile and, like, inoffensive to fucking every group, and we can't show sex because it just makes people feel icky, I guess, even though it's a part of fucking life. And then when they say in the movie, Brittany Snow's character has that whole bit where she's like, everyone has sex. It's a gas, you know. It's fun. We like doing it. If we like doing it, might as well get paid for people to watch it. Like, it was very pro-sex work. And just because these characters get killed, they get killed by a villain that's anti those things. But also that villain is just envious of those things. Like, the whole dichotomy of sex and beauty and age and irretrievable youth, I thought all that stuff was awesome. And it was refreshing to see a movie not pull any fucking punches. It depicted, it alluded to at least, male rape, which was, I guess, I mean, I haven't seen that since, like, Deliverance or, like, any movie that's set in a prison, but it was depicted in, like, a horrific, you know, disturbing manner, which it should be. And it also, like, just the kills and stuff, they were all practical, they were all in your face, they were all on screen, they were all really well thought out and well paced. And the climax of the movie kind of left me, like, wanting a little bit more, only because I was having so much fun. I was like, oh shit, we're almost done? Okay, I guess we're done then. But then they have these two other movies. So I'm like, okay, well then I'm ready to see what happens next. So yeah, X, I really recommend it.
Boy, Cheesecake Factory. Shit, I don't need to be smart in the box. Okay, Christ. Anticipation's killing me. What the fuck is... Gwen, did you eat any of my cheesecake?
I tried a little bit of it, yeah.
A little bit of it? What is a little bit?
Just like a little small bite.
Dave, do you see what I'm fucking looking at here? Gwen, I haven't had a single piece of this. Almost this whole thing is gone. One of this piece isn't even eaten all the way.
So eat the rest of it.
What you looking at?
Just Twitter. Oh, ow, damn! Digging for brains?
So I want to give a brief word about Stranger Things Season 3 and Season 4, because I have a habit of like, I'm going to review all these things, but I'm going to do it in multiple parts. And if I don't finish all the things in that one part, and I'm going to go, oh, I'll finish it in part 2, I just never make part 2. It happened with the Puppet Master. I watched all the Puppet Masters, I just didn't finish doing the fucking videos. So someday I'll have to do a Puppet Master redo and just do them all at once. So if I ever review something, I should just do it all in one go. But for this will be the last time I ever try and break something up in parts. So Stranger Things 3. This season was perfect. Was literally perfect. I've heard people say that's not their favorite, or they wished for this to happen, or whatever. Without getting into too much detail, because a lot of the internet has talked about Stranger Things till they are fucking blue in the face, but Stranger Things Season 3 was everything ever that I wanted from Stranger Things. For me personally, it was made for like just me apparently, but I loved this season. The music, the colors, the setting, the season, like they captured summer and the 4th of July so fucking hard. And I watched it like in mid-June, like leading up to July 4th, so it just was like the best time to watch it. But like the pool and, you know, the movie theater and hanging out at the mall and like just people having like sweat on their brow like all the time, and like the fashion and stuff, it felt so much like summer. And it was like once it was over, I immediately wanted to go back and watch it again, which was unlike the first 2 seasons. I really loved this season. Hopper, his whole arc with the big Russian heavy guy that's like totally homaging 80s action films that I grew up watching, where there's always the heavy guy that you gotta fight during the 3rd act before you get to like the main bad guy. I thought that was awesome. I thought that it was so cool how he was kind of like symbolic of death. Like whenever he'd show up, someone would die, and he was constantly coming after Hopper, and then eventually he got to Hopper. But it was like that final climax was so exhilarating. I thought that the Mind Flayer being the main villain again, I wasn't too thrilled about that. I kind of wanted a different villain. But then like with the way that it was used, with like Billy being possessed and all this kind of stuff, I thought that was all fucking awesome. I thought every like plan that the kids came up with, that it did this thing through the first 2 seasons where the kids never did anything that if I was a kid, I don't think I would do. Like there's so like for instance, in the movie Monster House, is a movie I enjoy, but at the end of the movie, the kid has to like climb up on this giant fucking crane, like it's like thousands of feet in the air, and it's like an infinite fall to his death, and he has no support, and he has to throw this bomb down this tiny little chimney of this house to destroy this house, and the house is trying to kill him the whole time. And I'm like, if I was a kid, I would piss my pants and die. Like I would not climb up that fucking crane. So whenever something that happens like that in a movie, I'm like, okay, that's just child wish fulfillment. That takes me out of it, because I couldn't see a kid actually doing that. Monster Squad is also an example of like the kids never really doing anything that I couldn't see myself doing. Like if I would be really ballsy if I did the stuff in Monster Squad, but it was nothing that like a kid would be incapable of doing. So I liked that. Like it was kids facing the fears, but they still like, it was within reason. Stranger Things 1 and 2 kept that up. Stranger Things Season 3 started to push it, but at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? No, I'm like, I buy this. I buy that if these kids were in this situation, they would be capable of emotionally handling these stakes, even though these stakes are very high. And because the stakes were like just high enough, they were still fun, it kept me invested, and I felt like I could go on this adventure with them if I was that age. And that's, I think, the biggest strength that Stranger Things has. I really did appreciate that about this season. Every character, I'm not going to do the character rankings again because my rankings basically haven't changed. Hopper, Dustin, and Max are still my favorite characters. I love Steve as well. But, I mean, that's like everybody's favorite characters right there. So, I loved Season 3. It was literally perfect. I can't really talk too much more about it because if I don't have any complaints and I just loved everything about it, then there's no reason to continue staying here. I literally think Stranger Things Season 3 was a masterpiece. I think that the show peaked here. I don't think that Season 4 was a huge drop-off. I just don't think it was as good as Season 3 is all I'm saying. Season 4 is awesome. I really like Season 4. It clearly was inspired by Nightmare on Elm Street, which they themselves make very prevalent by having Robert Englund play a supporting role, which I thought was really cool to see. Would have been nice to see him play a bigger role. It seems like a lot of people love Robert Englund, They love Freddy Krueger. They would love to pay homage to that, but they don't want Robert to, like, be a major fucking player. Because he's a classically trained actor. He doesn't act like modern actors do. He does, like, presentational acting, and that's a different thing, and it doesn't normally gel with other things. So even with Robert here, he would be much better served playing Vecna, okay? Vecna as a villain was so fucking cool up until the ending of part 1 of this season. And then he goes on that big fucking speech where he just, like, talks for, like, 20 minutes, just laying it all out for everyone to blatantly see. When he really doesn't even need to be doing that, but, like, it's, like, the most comical form of villain exposition I've ever fucking seen in anything. It's so egregious, and it was so, like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, is this motherfucker still talking? And he was still fucking talking.
And he's just like, oh, and now you probably are wondering why I do this. Well, the reason is...
And then he talks for like 10 more minutes, and it was maddening. I didn't need that. He could have just been a fucking other thing that's in the Upside Down. I understand, I'm normally the guy that's, like, not that picky about explaining too much about the villains, but this was fucking stupid. It made him so whiny and, like, entitled, and in that second part, the fear level for Vecna went down drastically. And especially that last episode, it's like there just seemed to be, like, so much that you could have cut down that I enjoyed it all. It wasn't like I was getting bored, it just was hurting the pace. Like, characters will be tied up in, like, being choked out, for example, by the fucking vines. And then we'll cut back and Vecna's, like, talking and he's waxing on about how evil he is. Like, literally just saying generic, like, insert villain dialogue where he's like, this is the end. You thought you could stop me. Like, just, like, the most, like, computer-generated villain dialogue. He's just saying that shit. None of it's intimidating. It's, like, embarrassing. He's just waxing about that, and then we'll cut back and those characters are still being choked by vines, and it's been, like, 8 minutes. Like, there's no sense of urgency up until there is. Because then that ending for Season 4 was awesome. I loved that. I loved Lucas's whole arc with the fucking dickhead bullies, and that fight he has with the head jock is so fucking intense. When he stepped on that Walkman, I was like, fuck! Like, no! I was audibly, like, so into that moment. And Max, and the piggyback scenario with 11 so she could fight Vecna, I thought that was all great. I thought it was awesome. I just think that there was a bit much. The last episode of the show was longer than most films, okay? It was competing in length with, like, a Peter fucking Jackson movie, and it was just like, if you're gonna do that, why can't we just have more episodes? Why does it have to be 9 episodes if we have so much we apparently need to tell? I just thought that was a bit redonk, okay? Yeah, it's literally just how much shit was in here. Mike continues to be the most useless, wasted fucking character. They should have just killed him. And, like, what's his name? Will? They should have just killed Will. Kill Will a while ago. Season 3, he was fucking dead weight. He was just along for the ride. He had nothing to contribute. Season 4, once again, he has basically nothing to contribute. I understand they gave him some subplots. That doesn't mean that he affects the plot at all. Lucas, Dustin, Hopper, Will's mom, what the fuck is her name? I never remember her name. Winona Ryder's character. A lot of these characters had a lot to do, and a lot of people said they should have left Hopper dead. No, I love the stuff in the Russian prison. Granted, it might just be because I liked Hopper, but I really liked that we had all these different storylines going, but every time we'd cut back to Mike's thing, I was just like, fuck. But that could not compare to how fucking boring all this bullshit was with 11 and Papa in the facility. Fuck me. I found none of that interesting. I was like, can we move on past this? Papa should have died in the fucking first season. 11 should have gained her powers back some other way. I just hated her having to go back to this facility and do all this shit. I just didn't fucking care about any of that. I'm sorry, guys. I like 11, but all of that was just like so much build up just to have 11 point at something with her hand and scream again. and it to be this big fucking moment. I just didn't care. I could not find it in my heart to care. That facility was boring, all these flashbacks. It just felt like we've been here, we've done this, can we move the fuck on? Because I'm way too interested in all the other shit that's going on with Max and with Vecna and the ticking clock, and like that stuff's way cooler than Eleven in the fucking bald cap in a facility being tormented by this old fucker. And like, yes, the payoff I guess was satisfying to that storyline, but I just didn't want to see it. I guess it's as simple as that. It's like season 2 when she had to go on this like side quest with these other people. I just didn't care. I don't want to see that. I want to go back to the other thing. It's just filler. Filler is what it is. You could say that it has this point or it does this or influences this. I just don't fucking care. It was filler. I've already forgotten it. When you say Stranger Things Season 4, it's the last thing I think about. Hey, get up, look at this. See anything out of ordinary in my freezer? Who'd you think these are?
Yours?
No, they're not. I don't wear women's panties, okay? And the culprit wrote her fucking name on them. Okay, so that's strike 1, alright? You see anything out of place in my fridge?
Yep.
More of Gwen's fucking underwear in the fridge. Why are they even in here? What was she doing that put them in here? They're dirty too. They've got vaginal discharge in them. So that's 2 strikes. Gwen's fucking dirty thong in my cupboard on my plates. The plates that we fucking eat off of. When she gets home, we're gonna have a fucking conversation about this. Fucking heard it. God damn it.
I'm not a really big fan of the first Top Gun movie. Like, I like it. I enjoy it. I saw it when I was younger. I remembered it. I would joke about it constantly because, like, it's one of those movies that's just, like, so ingrained in pop culture. You can, you know, Iceman and Goose and, you know, Need for Speed and, like, volleyball. Like, I like Top Gun, but I'm not a Top Gun fan. Top Gun Maverick was coming out, and for whatever reason, I was like, man, I really want to see that movie. And it took me forever to get a chance to see this movie. I saw this movie in, like, late July, I think. Maybe even early August. I'm not even kidding. But it was in theaters forever, and it made so much money. You've already all heard about this. When I finally got around to doing it, I took some people to see it. We got Red Lobster beforehand. That definitely didn't hurt my experience with Top Gun. Actually, no, we got Red Lobster afterwards. And so I just felt like I was very elegant that day. I was dressed real nice. I went and saw this movie, and it was a packed theater, even though it was so late in the game. And then we leave, and it's like super sunny out. It's just beautiful summer atmosphere. We went to Red Lobster. Everyone at Red Lobster was real friendly. It was just a really pleasant fucking day. Everyone was in a great fucking mood. Top Gun Maverick might be one of the best movies ever fucking made. Is it one of my favorite movies of all time? No, probably not. But it's definitely objectively, on a certain level, the best at several fucking things, at several categories. The stunts, insane. More impressive than any fucking Mission Impossible movie you've ever seen. The real flight sequences are so white-knuckle, fucking insane, intense, balls to the wall, ballistic. It blew me the fuck away watching this in theaters. I immediately wanted to go back in and see it again, or see it the next day. I was trying to, like, argue with people. I'm like, come on, you want to see Top Gun, right? Don't you? I've never seen it. No, I had, but I just wanted to go with somebody. And I remember I was at Joe's Crab Shack, like, a couple weeks later with a friend. And I was like, you know, the movie theater's right there. We can go see a movie. And they're like, oh, what would we go see? I'm like, well, let me think. Top Gun Maverick's in there. Do you want to see that? And they're like, nah. And I'm like, oh, why not? You don't want to see it? I was like pissed. Like, I wanted to watch it again. When it comes out on Blu-ray, I'm gonna buy it on Blu-ray also. Probably for the full fucking price. It was just awesome. It was so awesome. It made me retroactively like the first Top Gun more. Tom Cruise is a weird little fucking asshole, but motherfucker, he makes some kick-ass movies. Some insanely fucking rewatchable, awesome movie theater experiences. I was so swept up in, like, the Tom Cruise magic while watching this movie. Just the beach and the summertime and the music and that fucking song, all the songs really, but the one where they're like playing football on the beach, I was like listening to that several days after this movie, and it's not even really like my kind of music, but I really got into every fucking aspect of this movie. The final sequence of this film, in the same way that Mission Impossible Fallout is one of the best climaxes of any movie, that makes the rest of the movie, like, you rewatch it and like that impending, like, oh my god, we're getting closer and closer to that scene, like that finale, like a true movie finale. That's a lost art. But Top Gun Maverick proves that Tom Cruise understands the art of having an excellent fucking finale. Because the final act of this film is the shit. Okay? This is the best dogfight sequence you're ever gonna see, ever. All of the training stuff is fucking exhilarating. The characters are all lovable. Even the fucking side bullshit characters, you remember all of them the second the movie ends. It's the definition of how you fucking do a legacy sequel, where you're coming back years later, you're bringing back like one or two of the old original cast, but you're bringing in a bunch of new ones, and you gotta find a way to balance them. You gotta introduce new characters that don't overshadow the old characters, and also you don't want the new old characters to overshadow your new characters. It was just fucking perfect. And if it's the Top Gun duology, if they never make a third one, which I can't imagine they will, because how the fuck would you top this? You wouldn't. You wouldn't. It's the best dogfight movie, it's the best plane movie ever made, period. If you're gonna argue that anything else is superior, you're like a literal brain fucking eating zombie. Like, you're a dumb fuck if you actually think any other movie is better than this at being a fucking plane movie. Sure, there's other movies that are probably better than this, but I mean, it's by far and away the best Tom Cruise movie I've ever fucking seen. I'm honestly so blown away by it, that how fucking perfectly crafted it was, that it's kind of like Stranger Things Season 3, where I don't really have any complaints, so there's no point in me talking any more about it. I just wanted to throw in that even Dante Graves, the guy wearing the Slaughter High shirt with a Michael Myers face behind him, even Michael Myers, thought this was the best movie he'd ever seen the day that he saw it. It's not the best movie ever made, but it is definitely among, and very much deserves mention whenever we're talking about possible greatest films ever made. This would be one of them. It's just old school cinema that makes you feel something. And I really, really loved the feeling of watching it. I loved it so much, and I want to see it again, like, right now.
Damn it, Dante! What did I say about leaving your fucking dolls on the floor?
They are action figures, Gwen. They're not dolls. Okay, so if you're gonna yell and scream, maybe we should get your facts straight first. What the fuck was that? Who'd you throw? You see what you just did? You broke the Spooky Town fucking sign!
You know, you're being really disrespectful to my things. I'm letting you live here because I felt fucking sorry for you, but you're all mad about my shit on the floor. Let's talk about your shit. I found like pairs of underwear in the freezer, in the fucking fridge, in the fucking cupboards. Why are they even in those fucking places?
Okay, well at least I actually need underwear. I don't need toys.
It's my fucking house. If I want toys on the floor, I'm gonna have them there. You can fucking deal with it. I don't need your fucking underpants in the freezer. Why would you even put them in there?
I don't have an answer for that one. Maybe if you gave me a fucking drawer to put my underwear in, they wouldn't be everywhere else.
I'm going to my room. Fix my fucking Spooky Town. It's my room! Fucking god damn it.
Yep. Little baby.
Okay, we're on our last movie. We're gonna talk about Beast. Beast mode. My throat hurts like hell. I've got a big hole in my throat from these fucking tonsil stones. So I'm doing this for you. I'm suffering to talk about this stupid bullshit movies, all these stupid bullshit movies for you. Beast is a old-fashioned monster movie about a killer lion that might be haunted or something. It might be a ghost. I don't fucking know. A very mean lion that's been aggravated by poachers in the area, and basically Idris Elba, he goes to see his friend, Vikas Vanamire, or the dude from District 9. He goes to see that guy in Africa with his 2 daughters after his wife died, or his ex-wife died, or whatever, and they get attacked by this lion, and they gotta survive the lion. Beast was a lot of fun. I saw the trailers for this, and I was kind of just shocked that a movie like this was getting widely released. I could totally see a movie like this coming out on streaming, but you know, it's got a big star in it. It looked to have a pretty good budget. It's got pretty good CGI. Like, none of it really like took me out of the movie how wonky any of the special effects were. It definitely has better CGI than fucking Prey. That movie had fucking terrible CGI. We'll talk about Prey. I liked Prey, but like the bear in Prey, that was not what this was. This was a good-looking lion, okay? You could really believe these lions a lot of the time. There was just a lot of craft that went into Beast. I was just shocked that we were getting a movie that's this simple. That's killer lion, don't get killed by the lion, oh shit, the lion's eating this guy, isn't that crazy? How are we gonna escape this lion? There wasn't some other thing going on. This wasn't like the lion's part of it, but it's mainly a family drama. No, it's a killer lion movie. Which, I mean, there's Ghost in the Darkness. I have a hot sauce called Ghost in the Darkness. I would go get it, but I don't want to get up right now. But it's called Ghost in the Darkness, and it's like a Asian zing kind of hot sauce. It's really good. It goes good on pot stickers. Okay, we're getting off track. I was shocked, though, that a movie that's this simple and this to the point, and also R-rated, came out. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. It had a lot of really cool, like, long shots where you could tell that it's not like, you know, 1912 or 1917 or whatever the fuck, where it's like all one continuous take with just like shots masked to be one continuous long take, because it wasn't that. But there was a lot of just the camera just holding on things and passing around, weaving through doorways and over mountaintops and things that made it feel very much like it was happening in real time, which I liked. And then there was a lot of dialogue that you could tell was just improv, like characters talking over each other and characters just like starting a sentence, stopping, and then like continuing the sentence, like just very organic feeling and very fluid feeling. And that makes it probably not as good on a rewatch, but it definitely makes it fun that first time because you're just kind of along for the ride with these characters. And that real time, and you know, them meeting people who then come into play later, it just felt very much like a flash game, not a flash game, like you know, you download like a survival horror game that's only going to take you like a couple hours, and you get to know whoever in that time, and then it all comes to pay off, and then you go home, and that's what it was. It didn't need to be anything more than that. Yes, there were characters that behaved like fucking idiots. And I don't like that. It's like that Jurassic Park kind of thing where like if a character's gonna die, we have to make them act like a fucking brain-dead idiot before they die so the audience doesn't feel bad. Or like a child character acting so insanely stupid like that they're like actively trying to get themselves and other people killed. That kind of shit definitely is an issue. But at the end of the day, it's about Idris Elba fighting a lion. It's on the cover, like that, and if you want that, you're gonna get that, and you're gonna leave very satisfied. I thought that the final sequence, especially with Idris Elba versus that lion, even if the rest of the movie was, like, just boring, that last sequence would be worth rewatching, just because it's so brutal and fun and well shot and well done. This was a quality monster movie. I don't have much more to say about it. Will I rewatch it? Probably not, unless somebody really wants to see it and they haven't yet and I have, and I'm like, well, here it is, let's watch it. But, you know, it was a really fun time at the movies, and I recommend, if you just want, if you're like really itching for a movie like The Edge, or Jaws, or Grizzly, like just some like killer animal movie, that you, for an animal that doesn't really get a whole lot of killer animal movies that are watchable. I'm sure there's, you know, there's fucking zombies. But if you want a good killer lion movie that's not Ghost in the Darkness or whatever, you should probably check out this.
Ah!
What the fuck, Gwen?